Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician, and this is Holomancer.
And of course, I am the daring reporter Dora.
We are very glad to see you all again.
Today we will try to dispel myths about classic packs, talk about the best and worst legendary and epic cards, and define cards that can be safely disenchanted.
We will then answer the question, is it worth buying classic packs? The classic set is the oldest set in Hearthstone, a core of the game that will always be usable in the standard format.
But how influential is this set?
Classic is obviously a very important set, but a lot has changed since the release of the game in 2014.
Unfortunately, most players still consider the classic set to be the most important, and recommend prioritizing purchasing it. Here are a few reasons why this statement is false. Firstly, every year the classic set loses some of its most powerful and popular cards when they move to the Hall of Fame. These cards are too strong and potentially hinder the creation of new strategies. We believe this is the right approach from the developers.
Secondly, in place of cards that have moved to the Hall of Fame, we have received completely useless new cards. The number of cards in the set has not changed, but its power level has gone down. This is also a fair approach from the devs.
And finally, the most important factor. Starting from the Year of the Dragon, the influence of the classic set has become record low and will continue to decline. This year's sets are extremely influential. New cards are more powerful than classic cards. For example, last year in the same period players used 25% more classic cards than now. Also, the release of an additional 35 cards from Galakrond's Awakening will certainly deliver another hit to the influence of the classic set.
We assume that this trend will continue next year as well. When considering all of these factors, one can see how classic packs is not profitable.
How many packs do I need to get a complete collection?
Classic is the largest card set in Hearthstone with 245 collectible cards. The set contains 97 commons, 81 rares, 37 epics and 33 legendary cards. To collect the entire collection of cards you need to purchase about 400 packs, provided that you disenchant excess copies and golden copies to craft missing cards. In such cases, you will have to spend approximately $445.
If you want to get a full collection without spending dust on crafting missing cards, you will have to open about 560 packs. You can also get this number of packs for free. All you need to do is rigorously play the game for about 6.5 years.
Are classic packs really that bad?
Let's look at the statistics in more detail. The set contains 245 cards, of which only 80 are used in the meta game. In other words, only a third of the cards are currently useful. The set has more than 20% popularity, which means that on average every fifth card in a deck is a classic card. In general, the most popular cards from the set are common and rare cards.
Only 10 epic cards have more than 1% popularity so far. The set contains 33 legendary cards, and only 8 of them can be seen in the metagame.
How many packs do we need to buy to get the most benefit from the set?
We managed to find out the answer to this question. Your first pack will potentially bring you 1 or 2 useful cards out of 5. Generally, your first 10 packs will net you 16 useful cards. This is a very good amount.
After your 50th pack, you will find 1 useful card in each subsequent pack. After the 100th pack, you will need to purchase 10 packs to find 1 useful card.
We believe that the optimal amount that will bring you maximum benefit is between 90 and 100 packs, since the first 100 packs should bring you almost 80 useful cards. Of course, you can't get every useful epic and legendary card, but you will get a good foundation for your classic collection.
I'm totally confused. In other words, it is profitable for players to purchase 100 packs since players will be able to get about 80 useful cards. So is it worth buying classic packs or not? Are these packs really the worst?
We definitely do not recommend buying classic packs for gold.
But at the same time, this is not the worst set. Keep in mind, there is nothing worse than Rostakon's Rumble. You will receive approximately 90 packs for free throughout the game year if you complete quests, take part in tavern brawls and watch official game streams on Twitch. This is the main reason why this set does not deserve your resources. If you don't want to wait a whole year, you can always buy packs with money.
However, you will receive much more benefits if you spend resources on packs from the current year.
By the way, dear friends, what do you think has more value, quests for a classic pack or quests for 60 gold?
In my opinion, a classic pack will always be preferable to gold since you have the opportunity to get a card that you are missing.
In fact, if you are a newcomer, your choice is obvious. you will get much more benefits if you choose a classic pack.
But if you are an experienced player and you have been playing for more than 2 years, you have already opened more than 180 free classic packs. The chance to get the card you need is negligible. If you need a specific card, craft it using dust. In most cases, your pack will bring you an average of 100 dust, which is equivalent to 40 gold.
What cards do you advise players to get rid of?
We don't advise disenchanting cards, but if you really lack resources, this is a good way to craft some more effective cards. Let's briefly identify the best and worst cards from the set.
To do this, we have defined the average rate of popularity for all legendary and epic cards based on the results of 2.5 years of availability in Standard. We also added information on current popularity in Wild and Standard from hsreplay.com. After this, we have divided all the cards into 5 different categories according to their popularity. Each category received a number of stars. The less stars the category has, the safer the disenchanting.
Here are the legendary cards that were not used at all in the metagame. It is also unlikely that they will receive support in the future. For this reason, we consider them 1-star cards. This is the safest category for disenchanting.
Over the past 2 weeks, almost 0% of standard decks contain these cards. In the Wild mode, these cards have an average of 0.1% popularity. The only exception is Brightwing. This card has almost 1% popularity in Wild. Thus, for the Wild format, this card has 3 stars.
The same goes for epic cards. Here are 8 of the most useless cards from the set.
Now let's move on to the second category of cards. These include 2-star cards. These cards, unlike the previous ones, saw the meta game for a while, but their popularity was very small and they had no influence on the game. For this reason, the average popularity of these cards is only 0.05%.
It's kind of weird to see Lord Jaraxxus on this list.
There is nothing surprising here. The card has barely seen play over the past 2 years.
The best days of Jaraxxus are lost to the past. The same goes for these epic cards. According to HS Replay statistics, only about 0.1% of all decks contain these cards right now in Wild and almost 0% in Standard.
The next category is cards with 3 stars. In general, these cards were more noticeable in the metagame, appearing about 10 times more often than the cards with 2-star rating seen previously.
But despite this, their influence was negligible. Most of these cards found their place in niche meta decks for some time, then disappeared. With some of them, players experimented immediately after the release of a new expansion, and others after nerfs. They have an average popularity of about 0.4%. Of course, over the past 2 years it's incredibly low figure, but in the past they were very powerful cards. Unfortunately, in the current meta they are almost not used at all. All of these cards can also be found in Wild mode, although they only have a popularity of slightly higher than 0.
The next category is legendary cards that received 4 stars. All of these cards were included in stable archetypes with good efficiency.
These cards have proven their effectiveness for over 2 years. Unfortunately for the current meta, these cards are absolutely useless. The only exception is Tyrion, but they will most likely find places in decks within the next year.
Unlike these legendaries, some epic cards are quite in demand in the current metagame. All these cards are playable, and have an average of 1 to 2% popularity. They are at about the same popularity in Wild mode.
And finally, the best legendary cards from the set. These can definitely be considered the best choice for crafting. They are in the meta game consistently and have a large amount of influence. The current meta is no exception. And here are the best epic cards that also deserve a place in your collection. As you can see, there aren't many universal cards for all situations in the meta game.
I think you missed one card.
Oh, Dora, you are extremely attentive.
I am a professional journalist. So what do you have to say about Leroy Jenkins?
Leroy deserves special attention since he is the most popular and influential card in the classic set. On average, over 2.5 years, he had a popularity of more than 17%. In the current meta, every third deck uses it. In our opinion, this card is the main candidate for the Hall of Fame. Dear viewers, what do you think? Is it time to move Leroy to the Wild?
If this happens, the classic set will lose even more influence in the metagame.
You are absolutely right, but this is not a bad thing, since the meta will always be fresh thanks to the cards from new sets. In addition, newcomers no longer need to spend resources to purchase classic packs, since they receive a sufficient amount for free. They will simply need to wait a bit.
Your thoughts in the last video about the new adventure have caused mixed opinions from the audience.
Yes, Dora, you're right. It seems we underestimated the ability of Reform and the League of Evil to sell content. It seems that many players are not confused by the increased number of sets and the cost of the game. They are blinded by Galakrond's awakening. The magic of marketing is too dangerous and destructive.
We still think this is not the right decision. But we are very grateful to our viewers for their different opinions. If you missed this video, find a link in the description.
Finally, we want to ask you a new question. What should developers do with the classic set? Make it stronger with buffs or make it weaker by moving strong cards to the Hall of Fame? What do you think?
Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us.
And special thanks to Chris for text editing.
We will meet in new videos.
Good luck.